Hi, if you own a Yamaha XT660Z Tenere and you've been hearing some noises, some engine noises, and you think it may be the valve clearances that need adjusting, this video is for you. So here we got 2009 Tenere, and what you need to do is start with the seat. So take off the seat. Then we need to take off the tank. Here, as you can see, I've taken the tank off already. Now on the tank you have some side plastic covers, so you need to take these off first, the sides, and those will reveal bolts that are on both sides of the fuel tank. Here is one. Depending on whether you have engine guards or not, they'll be longer if you don't, so they stick out more, so it's easier to lose. And then you have bolts here next to the seat. That's a seat bracket, as well as two bolts for the tank. Now what I found out, it is much easier to take off the plastics of the tank from here in front, underneath. So basically completely, before you remove the tank, take everything off the fuel tank, so it's easier to take off from the motorcycle. And I'll show you this side as well. So here is the right hand side bolt for the fuel tank, and I'll show you also so far what's been taken off. So firstly, as I mentioned, these side plastics you probably recognize. Then you'll take off these ones next to the radiator and next to the exhaust pipe, 3 bolts on each. And of course, firstly, before you take the tank off, you need to take off the indicators, so it's quite a lot of removing and unbolting stuff. And what I recommend is putting all the bolts and bits and pieces into a box that I organized. So whatever is on that side is the left hand side of the bike, and here is the right hand side of the bike. Some bolts may vary and they have a different length, so be aware of that. So make sure you organize stuff as you take it off. Okay, and now you will have to wipe and clean everything around the tappet covers. So this is the intake valves, and also you will need to loosen the radiator. We're taking off the plastic guard, so it's 2 bolts on the top and 2 bolts on the bottom. It's all Allen keys. So in this case here I took off also the fan, because the fan was loose. Those 3 bolts were loose and it was moving around with the vibration, with the rattling. So make sure that those 3 bolts around are tightened, because you might lose them, and you need the fan on, attached properly. And also I'm going to clean this fan because it's very messy. What happens here when you change oil, and when you overfill, or you want to pour all the oil in one go, it will overflow from the dipstick, from the hole, from the intake, from the spout. So make sure when you change the oil, only put in about 1.5 liters, then start the engine, let it run, so the engine recirculates in the engine, and then stop the bike and pour the rest in. I believe it takes 2. Hang on, I'll just double check the volume of the oil for you if you like. And total is 2.9, but without filter is 2.5, and with oil filter 2.6 liters of oil. So 1.5 in, start the bike, turn off and pour the rest in. So when you overfill, this oil here runs all the way down on the radiator and creates a mess. as you can see here, and that's why I have to wash the fan too. Now you have to, as I mentioned, clean around the tappet covers, as well as for the exhaust valves, which are a bit trickier. So this is the cover in front of the exhaust valves. Now before we proceed, you have to remove this plastic cover, and I'm going to remove this so we can turn the engine to the top dead center, so the piston is all the way up and it's on the intake stroke, on the compression stroke, sorry. So the rotation must be on the compression stroke, and I'm going to take this cover off as well. Now you might be asking, oh gosh, what else I have to be removing? So here is the list. We continue. Spark plug out, so it's easier to turn the engine to the right position. Now you can see the tappets exposed. This is the intake valves, and once you grab this arm and start moving around, you can feel that there is a free play, even with a bit of a noise. So these seem to be okay. I'm not sure. I'll double check. We'll check the clearances in a minute. Spark plug is out. And here you can see the exhaust valves. I emphasize you have to clear all the stuff around off, because if you start adjusting the clearance, and you may loosen some of the gravel and fine dust inside, and you don't want that, so be careful. Make sure you clean all this around with the rag, wipe it off, so no dirt falls in when you do the work, when you adjust the clearances. And this is quite major here, so exhaust usually loosens up more. Once I touch it, it jumps up and down, and this is all the engine noise that you hear, all the clapping and the chattering of the valves. And it's been a good reminder, because I haven't done it for about 25,000 kilometers, and this bike has now done 105,500 kilometers, so it's a bit well overdue on this one. But it was just a reminder. Engine started being a bit noisier than I'm used to. So this, and now I've taken off that cover and this so we can turn the engine to the right position. Now you can see the timing chain cover, the cam chain cover is off as well, and I'll show you what to use for removing all those covers here. So this little one went with the big chunky flathead screwdriver, and this one here I used this round old spanner flat sheet. So what it does, it just doesn't damage that plastic. It's all plastic, beware, it's not aluminum or metal, it's plastic. So find something that goes in nicely and then slowly loosen it anti-clockwise. So don't use screwdriver, because you will damage this plastic, it's very soft. Alright, so something nice and round like this, about 4 millimeters thick spanner. Now, why is this plastic? Well, obviously they want to keep the weight down as much as they can, so we have to get used to this being a fact, that more plastic on motorcycles means more less weight and better maneuverability